Gentlemen, ladies, yeah, it's Crypto Sniper checking in with you again, and it is that time, yes, BTC. So overall, I've got a bit of a view, and here's what I'm going to talk to you about in this clip. Bitcoin as a group, BTC, but then there's a lot of BTC clones. The platform coins-ish that I'm referring to, so Ethereum, Neo, and then I'm going to call, maybe rather unkindly, but the banker coins, Ripple and to a degree Lumen. These are the three categories I'm going to look at here. I have a view in terms of relative performance and outperformance. This is then going to segue into, it's going to do a soft fork into my take on the Bitfinex and the Tether. Now, I'm not a student of all the characters and the skullduggery. Bix has done some great stuff. He seems to know what he's talking about. Also have a look at other opinions. I'm not the man behind who does what, but I am going to just speculate on a message, because I do have a fascination for statement analysis and attempting to detect deception. There is actually full program, and you can go learn about statement analysis. And if you have time and feel like something really interesting, statements reveal a lot. People try cling to the truth as much as possible, and then a choice of phrase or something that's left out or something that is put in and worded in a certain way can often say a lot, because it's allowing for wriggle room. So anyway, we'll come to that when we look at the Bitfinex. Anyway, Bitcoin first, it's the big boy. Just not impressed with the reaction from the sell-off. Some technicians may even have said this is a falling wedge type structure. Eventually, when you're in such this kind of a structure, it will stop falling. But this has not been impressive. It failed at that level, came back down, a grinding line. We learn more about that in our self-study programs. We've suspended trading metamorphosis programs. There's no new trading metamorphosis programs. You'd have to join a queue for that. But there will be a self-study program at a lower price point. Anyway, we broke that. You can see another grind, another sell-off, another grind. This is very weak, sideways, low volatility price behavior. It's not overly impulsive, except for that occurred after the final exhaustive low point, and it couldn't hang on to that. So this is Bitcoin in Bitfinex. It still has the Tether premium of 6741. I expect that to close to a degree to the other exchanges, by the way. So watch out for that. But yes, let's have a look at Bitcoin against those other exchanges, seeing as we're talking about it. This is on Tether with Binance, 6739, very similar to Bitfinex, similar structure, so not too much I'm going to do there. On Kraken, where it is slightly lower, it's actually been slightly better, so mild settling off, making less convexity. You'll learn what I mean by that in programs on the self-study. But the essential aspect of this is it's not quite as bad. It's more basey building. So there's potential scope for the 6.7 and the 6.4 levels between the different exchanges to narrow down. So the 6.7s to come off, the 6.4s could even drift up. That is before any major moves. So this is like what now in the interim, before any major moves. As you probably know, I'm long run, still biasing to the bear overall side for the bear structure, in spite of this pump, which didn't invalidate our structure on most normal exchanges that are as Tether exposed. Kraken does apparently have Tether, but you didn't run the 6.8 on this particular exchange. One more exchange, why not for Bitcoin? Then we're done. Coinbase, again, slightly better, little easing, gradual easing, and a bit of base building with some lower wicks building. So it's going to settle here and maybe a little bit of upside drift. So maybe that premium resolves somewhere in the middle between the 6.740s and the 6.426s at the moment. You might settle at around 6.5. Maybe some of that premium won't go at all away. You're just going to move towards it a little bit, but not entirely, because the Tether risk's still out there, and more on the new banking solution to come on Bitfinex. Okay, let's have a look at something else. So Bitcoin drifty, very soft, but not a, I wouldn't say it's about to guaranteed plunge. I think there's going to be some of that drifting price behavior for a while longer that I've already just discussed, and some of it might be upside on the exchanges I've just mentioned. But what's happening on the other coins? So let's have a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum, for me, is not in as near a good a place. This is Ethereum against Bitfinex. Again, the Tether premium, it invalidated a pattern of ours, but it didn't do it. This is a bigger time frame. That spike, it didn't do it on this one, which is Kraken. So you're getting quite big variances. If I just move that off the 15 minute and get it slightly closer to the one I've just shown you, you will see that's the draw. So I'm not fully accepting that invalidation, and I think there is a desire here in this inverted structure that you'll learn more about, as I say, if you elect to invest in your growth in this area, on that break of that grind line, that sell-off, this little squeeze that led to a dip down and then a pump. It was interesting how low vol, kind of somebody knew, you have that feeling, somebody knew something, really tight, low vol squeeze, a little dip one way and then a pump the other. Yep, it was, did seem like that there was maybe something brewing there, but very low vol. This on its own isn't impressing me, and that's on the Bitfinex exchange. When we go back to this one that is on Kraken, not the biggest on volume Kraken, but I'm looking at it a bit now because of that Tether distortion that came in. So this is Ethereum against dollar, real fiat dollar. And this just looks like it's made its second interim and it's having a little rally. It's in a channel, had a little bit of a schizophrenic moment, was resisted in the funnel, and it's drifting. In fact, it looks like it's going convex and could even slip into the ground floor of this flagging that I've split into levels. So for me, the platform coins, and it's now time to probably include Neo, the sort of the other Ethereum, on this grind line, keep getting spikes that it can't hold, very tightly clinging along here, push back, push, and wick sell off again. For me, I see this breaking to the downside. So Ethereum, Neo, downside for me, and I'm not impressed by these platform coins technically. I don't have a view fundamentally. I'm not going to start calling them shit coins and carrying on and getting all emotive. I don't play that game. I'm just saying technically that don't impress me much. It's coming up and it's inviting a slap in the face, I think personally, for a downside move, which has me still say on balance of probabilities, I think the whole crypto market is going to do that rollover, including Bitcoin. I think the best gains are going to be had here on the platformy type ones, Neo, Ethereum. There are others. Some of you might say, well, Bitcoin Cash is wanting to release stuff on it, and Lumen has. I see them slightly differently, which, speaking of Lumen, let's get to what I described as the banker coins, Lumen and Ripple. Let's go to Ripple first. So I've been moving some stuff around. So I'm going to take you to a short little trip through our premium area. So this is going to be super small on your screen because I've got a real wide screen. I'm sorry for that. It doesn't resize back down to give me that width. If I record on a laptop, it would. We were just highlighting here how strong Ripple had been in our crypto general. This was from my phone device. Overnight, I'd been buying Ripple, getting out of Tether, moving things around, Ref, Bitfinex, etc., because I was a big user. This looks like a rising wedge and looked like it would spill. But throughout overnight, while the other things were soft, Ripple and the gang were gaining strength. Ripple and the gang were gaining strength. I'd also highlighted Lumen, illuminated. He said, Lumen, let's get him down here as being in a setup for a little bit of an upside look. Yep, so we previously highlighted Lumen, in fact, for a down, which it made and performed to from that squeeze. And then subsequently, it began to be a little bit more perky. And overnight, we suggested that this actually had upside structure. So inside of this downside, it rallied with the Tether, as many things did. but it held on to a little more. This is actually Bitfinex. It set up a nice little upside squeeze. So Lumen was looking more buoyant. And as the day's gone on, so it's continued to move on upwards. So these are the updates we've been doing on this particular coin, moving up out of this level. So Lumen during the period and Ripple actually overnight gained strength. So I highlighted the setup before turning in for bed, and it was gaining overnight while other things were drifting and coming off. So we seem to be getting a relative strength effect from I suppose you can also say the fast coins. The fast coins, not just bank-oriented coins, the fast and cheap to transfer around coins have proven useful. So I've shorted Ripple a lot and aggressively and been hard on Ripple because it's not the ethos and the spirit and the privacy and all of that good stuff. In terms of function, it's cheap and fast. And that's important, especially the events of Bitfinex having gone, and you need to move and get stuff out from one exchange to another. You need to get out of Tether and you want to get something quick. In actual fact, Ripple has held up rather well during that period. It's also had quite a big pump prior to all of this, which it's held on to more of than the others. So it's shown relative strength recently. And that's key and that's important. And it feels hard to praise the banker coin, but maybe in fact it needs to be done in terms of function. And I do feel Bitcoin, the people behind Bitcoin as well, have so missed the utility boat, keeping it affordable, getting it going, getting it the fastest. And everyone's going to go on about this network, the Lightning Network, and but this, but that. Other people are doing it quicker. Yes, I know it's not the same. It's not the same architecture, but there's a place for when you want to get stuff out fast and it's relatively liquid, like the Ripple has been. It had shown its weight, and Lumen is a little bit of a junior version of that. So I am seeing and have seen relative strength in the Lumen, and I wanted to highlight also that this price action has invalidated that downside. It doesn't mean it didn't work. It did. It was that's why I have a target. It was highly profitable sell short. What it's doing is it's taking back the bearishness implied by a performing downside pattern by taking back the funnel. This is the great learning concepts you get out of HVF method that say, okay, for this time frame under review, because we do multiple time frames in our review, this is now undone the overhang of bearishness for the 2-hour chart, which is what we're looking at now. So this is actually quite good price action. And we've spoken more about this coin and others. But so banker coins, fast, cheap, easy to transfer coins, have done well in this environment. And I think part of it has got to do with the Tether Bitfinex aspect. So let's have a look at something else, a little bit different. So what's the takedown in this whole story? Well, I'm going to go back into crypto general here. As I've said, on your own view, you would actually have all of this nicely sized. It's a bit narrow because I'm using a big screen and it doesn't size beyond a certain point. So here's the message I got on Bitfinex about their banking. So, improved fiat deposit system. Remember, anything they say has to sound better. But actually, this is a business that is battling with getting banking relationships. Now, that could be malicious. It could be control structure, trying to close them out. Or it could be the BICS aspect that they're unwanted and they have an oily reputation. I don't know when they were hacked and there was a loss and they created a coin. I think that was a very, very dubious chain of events. Crash the coin, everyone then sells it, gets out at the bottom, they buy it back and then they make it whole. And they're the holders of that aspect. Smells a little bit. I understand that was attributed to Bitfinex. I don't know. Anyway, this new process was once again KYC verified users. So I think they want to come clean and sound like they're more clean. All their people are KYC now too, like all the other exchanges. They may fear that some of this is government driven and that they aren't in the US. They didn't want all the headache of all of that. And that's why they might be being targeted. So there could be some element of innocent victim, but some of the other conduct and what other people think, they don't seem to see that. So I don't have a view. I don't have a dog in that fight. Are the new banking arrangements the equivalent of an A book and B book for booking clients? So if you understand trading generally and spread bets, brokers, etc., people used to be rated by the quality of the trading, and just about everybody would be rated more likely to lose, and there'd be a small handful of people that would be rated good to be profitable. So they would hedge the profitable guys, and the B books, they would hold the other side of the trade, and they would make the profits long run of other people's losses, aka trading against you. That is largely in the first world been supposedly outlawed and pushed out. In other words, for execution reasons, you can't have an agency situation where it pays me to serve you badly and give you slippage on execution, etc., because I'm on the other side. So that was attempted to be moved away. Someone told me that even big players, like a broker that got really hard hurt by the Euro Swiss francs, I'm mentioning no names, set up offshore companies. So it looked like they were delegating the liquidity provision of taking the other side of the trades to some shell outside other institution for which they happen to own a major majority stake. So maybe there's still some elements to A and B books relying on people to lose, etc., etc. But anyway, this whole nature is that you will get a user will initiate a fiat deposit request. So first you'll ask and say how much you want to do. This sounds very involved. Following account review, so they'll check you out. So this makes it sound like we're good guys and we don't want any oily operators. The user will receive a deposit notification which will include about other bank details specific to the individual's transaction. So it sounds like you get different banks every time, or one person might be assigned one and a different client another. So this sounds like they don't want to have a full, or they can't get, more likely, a full banking relationship with anyone, and they're going to have this hot desking where they don't look like a full business or an SME. It's smelly a little bit. I'd love to think and say we have distributed banks. But it sounds like making a virtue out of something they can't attain, a corporate banking relationship. This could be brought about by them, the control structure squeezing them out as players, or they could deserve it because they have less than good reputation. I don't know which. The user will be able to initiate the deposit based on the information received through the deposit notification. The deposit will subsequently be processed within 6 to 10 business days. So that's quite a lot of time as well, to give them a little bit of argy-bargy and behind the scenes opportunity. Are they taking the victim mantle in this highlighted area in the face of sustained attacks by competition and their supporters? In other words, we're a victim? People are picking on us. Maybe they deserve it, maybe they don't. Do they have real enemies? Anyway, thank you. Ongoing campaigns against us will only result in our company becoming stronger and better. Not sure about that one bit. Ongoing campaigns do real damage to volume in a company. Trust me also, the other exchanges would love for them to do a Lehman's, although it won't be good for crypto short term. They'll all be good to pick up their business because it'll have to go somewhere else. And these piranhas are self-culling. So if someone's weak, they're quite comfortable with maybe keeping up that rumor mill going. I thought the fake Binance tweet, very interesting that it came out such a big other player. Anyway, so let's have a look at the top 24 by volume ranking today. Now, normally Bitfinex was in the top 3, either second, third, and more recently when there was a little early inklings of the Tether thing warming up, fourth. So market by volume today. 1, Binance. 2, this is ones that charge fees, so it won't include the derived markets like Bitfinex and others. So the traditional exchanges where you can trade crypto against crypto. OKEX, that is 2. Huobi, 3. ZB Coin, 4. L Bank, we're getting into these lesser names. Coinbean, HIT, BTC, Buybox, 8. IDAX, 9. Number 10, Bitfinex. So the volume is dropping relative to these others. Number 10. The other thing that's interesting is BTC USD, you would expect. USD Tether dollar trading is high. USD Tether dollar is high. And then the XRP is high. XRP is also high again against BTC. So XRP is appearing twice in the top 10. Ripple, remember that moving coins around quickly. Tether and USD. So that's quite interesting. And also, if we just go to some of the others, look, Ripple's a big coin. It's number 3. But the thing I was finding interesting in the big exchanges, where might people move? They might move to Binance. Ripple, apart from ZRX that had some news today, Ripple is with the Tether is number 3. So this will be a large amount of people, I suspect, dumping Tether for Ripple. Of course, someone's taking the other side of that trade. So for every buyer, there's always a seller, guys. Right after Ethereum, BTC is Ripple again, BTC. So Ripple twice in there. This is pointing to the banker coins, the fast and low cost coins, getting benefits and being highly traded in this environment for me. This is what I am finding to be the case. Ripple is the big one. Lumen won't make it. It's too illiquid relative to the big names. But it's just interesting to see that. Tether involved on BTC. What's going on? BTC Tether again. ETH this time. Litecoin, which could also be often construed. And then Ripple on Tether again over here. So OKEX, not so telling in their favor of Ripple. Ripple third against Tether here. That's in market cap order, so that's not especially noteworthy. But also Ripple against BTC as well. So you have ETH, BTC, and Ripple. So it's I wouldn't have said it was particularly noteworthy. I found Binance and Bitfinex trade particularly noteworthy. But what is clear is that Bitfinex's volumes are substantially down and that they're now at number 10, where previously they were in the top 3 or 4, usually second, third, or fourth. So exchanges thrive on volume. So whatever people say, this has been damaging for Bitfinex. The notion that it hasn't is, well, it's just a case of we're getting stronger for this. I'm afraid I'm not buying that. I think this, whether it's well justified or is a real attack on an exchange unjustified, regardless on that argument, this is damaging. And you didn't need me to tell you that, but the notion that they're going to be stronger is not accurate for me. So there you have it. A couple of observations, and we've seen the chart. So, okay, what do you do? Well, that's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to trade, but I can tell you what we are talking about a little bit in terms of our premium groups, and we'll probably see overall crypto underperformance as an asset class, with the eventual sell-off that I expect to still see in Bitcoin, but possibly a bit of upside drift and a bit of calming first, a little bit of a squeeze of the premium, a little bit of the relaxing, but generally quite low vol, maybe a couple of little upward spikes and pushes, but not always having it all held on. But then overall, the crypto market coming off with the possibility of the downside break on the bigger time frames that we've been modeling for, that I keep referring to. In other words, this part of the game, the downward move here on that, it hasn't gone away. It's lurking there like a leopard in the bush, I'm afraid. I'd love to be a bull and to tell you to be bullish. But overall, this makes me feel medium term, short and medium term bearish. But in the meantime, in the really short trigger time frames, we can get some upside drift and a little bit more squeezing. But we are in the middle of, at the moment, the soft ceiling and the soft floor of 6.2. We're 242 away, and at 6.8, you're some way away. You're still in the bottom half of our funnel, despite all the Tether news that gave it this lift for a while. And I expect those premiums on the others to come down. This is, of course, Kraken. On the ones that are 6.7, they'll be over here. They got to resolve. They've got to resolve. Otherwise, the ARBs are going to work that one out once the time frames are fixed. I just don't want to have coins in transit and we're into the major collapse. So it's not a game for me. So overall, crypto down. BTC maybe improve a little bit, low volatility, couple of spikes up, but in the more medium term, I expect a sell off. The banker and the fast, light, quick, low cost coins can do well in any further escalation in the Tether environment. So the go-to coins will be probably Ripple will get one of the best benefits. Lumen is looking fairly strong, just much less liquid as a coin. So depending on who you are and what you might use, and the platform coins seeing real pain for them to come potentially, but I can't tell you when. In other words, this is flagging like behavior. Look, it's a long period of sideways. It's a sideways channel after a major spill. Return move to these levels, possibly could even go all the way up to here and start going into what I've called my funnel level. But I still suspect there's a good chance we see 133 on the Ethereum and even bigger percentage losses in NEO. Okay, that's Francis. Remember to pre-reg for the free Trader Mastery. Come and check us out on the webinar. Trading Metamorphosis program is gone. We have a lower cost self-study mini package for you. For those that have been wanting to do it, come and find out on the webinar. Yes, the webinar, 31st of October. First and initial offer. You can only be in a waiting list now for a Trading Metamorphosis program, but there is a self-study package which will include some real-time with a webinar on Sunday. You will have 3 non-farms for me. We'll detail it all later when we get there. But thank you for watching. Long clip, but that's my take on crypto. Trade safe, be careful, know your risk rewards and have stops, but know how to use stops. Yes? Okay, couple of crazy things I'm hearing out there. People in the woods making some funny noises. Okay, with that all put aside, thanks for watching. And in trade safe, trade small. None of this is advice. It's my take as I see it. Bye for now.